Hello and welcome to the HI UK Select monthly update for April 2025. Wow, what a month. Probably one of the most challenging months for an active fund manager to address, given the oscillations and uncertainty around US policy. However, it's good to report that the fund had a pretty strong month, a good recovery from a more difficult March, as I reported last time. How did we achieve this in such a volatile market? The fund's neutrality clearly helped us here, in the fact that we have a balanced book of longs and shorts. But also we worked particularly hard in the early part of the month around the tariff announcement noise to keep the positioning very balanced. It was one of those markets where your portfolio in the morning was well positioned, but by the afternoon perhaps that positioning wasn't working anymore. So a lot of intraday changes. So really hard work by the team, and they deserve credit for making money this month and doing it in a pretty consistent way throughout the month. What's worked and what's not worked? It's quite a difficult month to really pull out some particularly strong positioning. It's more about the overall fund positioning than stocks, I think, this month. But we can mention a few things that I think are helpful. The oils were weak this month, so our BP short was particularly good, countered a little bit by our Shell long, but overall that was a pair that worked pretty well for us in the concept of market neutrality. We had a good short in global distribution and supply business Bunzl, which had slightly disappointing numbers and quite a big share price reaction. So there were a couple of standout positives. In the long book, the UK domestic narrative was quite strong. There is an expectation in the UK that we will get an interest rate cut from the Bank of England this month in May. And perhaps in anticipation of that, and with an underlying feeling that the UK consumer resilience is pretty strong. The UK consumer is famously resilient and has generally done pretty well in tougher market conditions and carried on spending on things like travel and leisure. So we've seen a good performance from Jet2 and Ryanair. Jet2 announced a pretty significant share buyback, which I think was really helpful. The house builders have also been strong. There's a sense that the Labour government in the UK is beginning to push through some planning reforms to make it easier for house builders to get on site and get producing houses. There's a housing shortage in the UK, and that needs to be addressed. And the large UK house builders are probably the most likely people to do that. Long-term interest rates, if we look at the 5-year swap, would suggest that we're now getting reasonably attractive mortgage rates. So long-term mortgage rates are appealing to consumers. We've had a long period when people haven't moved. The house builders are feeling more confident about building and selling. So that whole house building sector and the interest rate sensitives and domestics to some extent as well has been pretty supportive to us. We've had to keep working hard all month just to continue that momentum, and that'll carry on from here. While we might have been, the tariff storm is perhaps slightly becalmed today, we can't rely on a no change scenario. So it's been a really good test for the fund, and we're very pleased that it's got through well so far. But we will continue to work hard to find new longs and shorts within that balanced portfolio to keep delivering positive returns. Thank you again for your support this month.